Okay, okay, here we go. A piece on contour lines. Contour lines are about how to draw lines around things to give the information about how the shape turns. So we're creating a three-dimensional illusion on a two-dimensional surface. So one of the ways is to give information. You put information right in your drawing or your painting that shows what's happening with the form. So here this form turns around. We can see how it turns. One of the main things to be looking for is there's going to be some type of a place in the middle where it's going to turn from above, so all these lines are arching this way, to below, and they are arching this way. Or there's a way of, one is like from the left side to the right side, above and below. So all these lines, they lay on the form and they're giving you information about what's happening. You know, here's a picture of Benjamin Franklin. Like, how do we know that's him? This is basically a topographical map. So these are all of these contour lines of where lines lay on the form. So here we're looking down at an apple so we can see the top of it. So there's this invisible line that goes right down the middle of every single form, and it's how we're looking at it. And then to the right of it, everything starts to turn this way. It starts to arch. And then as it crosses the midline, it starts to arch this way. And so it arches around until it comes back to that middle line, which is on same on the other side. It goes straight, and then once it goes on that side, it curves around. So all of these drawings, the best thing you can do is just draw them. These are from people that I found on the internet, so I don't have the artist names and things like that. I'm just using them as examples. So there's different, here the cross contour then is you have something that's going on both sides. You know, you can see the top of it, and once it gets around to the side, you can't see around over there anymore, and it's still giving you information all the way down about what's happening in this form. You know, here's the hands going away from us, so all the lines are curved. They're all in the similar curve, and there's information here. You can see it. You can feel what's happening there. An ear. Faces kissing, right? There's all this articulation of form so that it's the lines that are giving all the information. And so when a form changes its direction, the line changes its direction. So here we can see this middle line is right here. So once this form goes this way, it's going away from our eyes and it starts to arch this way. And then the opposite is it goes in the opposite direction. Or here in the middle with this back section is that right in the middle, there's a straight line. There's really a straight line right here. So there's another straight line of a horizontal or a vertical. And then everything above this horizon line starts to arch up. And it's straight lines, but you can still see it's the same thing. So these are contour lines that are giving you information about what's happening. You know, the space turns. Once it turns, then the line direction is going to turn. So all of this is giving you information about what's happening on the form. Everything's about what's happening on the form. So we're underneath the form looking up. So the horizon line is actually going to be quite low below this drawing. So as we're looking up, then all of these lines arch in a particular way. And they lay on the form, giving you information about what's happening. Looking down at something, all these lines go around. It's a great piece. All these pieces, I recommend that you stop and draw each one or go back over this video. So the cool thing about an elephant is that the contour lines are already in the elephant, which are great. So if you look at the trunk, it's already got the lines on it. So here's the middle line. You can see it. So that would be where our horizon line is, or the camera is. And below that, then all the lines start to arch and turn in a certain way, like we're looking down at something. And above it, then it turns this way. So this is correct because it's just drawing right on the elephant. So this is correct because it creates this form. They turn this way as they're underneath, and they turn that way as it's over top. Now these aren't drawn correctly, but it's still a good example of student work and stuff. So how would you draw that? Like what's happening in this shape? So big animals are great because they're big, round. You know, they have a lot of form to them. If you have a hairy dog, it doesn't work as well. But you want to be trying to think about like put some tracing paper right on your screen, print it out, draw right on something that you print out, and see if you can understand and play around and explore what contour lines are like on a form. What do they look like? You know, it's really there's a big sphere here. So spheres happen like this, above, below. Reptiles are great because they already have contour lines just already built in their bodies. You can see them. So go ahead and play around with a piece like that. It's about printing things out, drawing right on them, see if you can see those contour lines. So this artist has, you know, you can see the contour lines because it's a line that curves around a form. So a lot of artists, they just hang, and the beginning artists, they just hang outside and they try to draw the outline of it. But that's the first pass. The second pass, or even at the same time, is to be drawing and giving information on the form inside the body. So how would you draw that? So print it out, you know, figure out what that would look like. What would that? So you just draw right on your piece and you try to see what some of those lines are like. So there's already a contour line right around his belly, which is awesome. His body's giving you all the information where because there's light on a form, it's already telling you what's happening. Here's one of these big lines down the middle. So you just kind of follow those. It turns one way, turns the other. Do a portrait. Do some famous people. Do one of yourself. Here's some student work where they were drawing on top of me. So you also want to do the cross contours. So don't just get one plane, get both of them going on like that, and just see what happens. See what happens and see what it's like. So that's the homework. And so the way that I paint then is as I'm painting on something, I use those lines to turn this form, right? I'm using that to make the eyebrow and the top of the head change. So I go in there and I'm chiseling just very lightly. I'm slowly turning the form and then I paint on it. And it doesn't kind of matter what you're painting. This is the way that I paint, is I'm constantly using these contour lines to give information about what's happening on the form. So you're either going to give it by line work or you're going to give it by values. I like to do both. So one of the homework assignments is to make some type of creative contour line piece. So these are all kind of interesting animal pieces where you can see that the things wrap around. They're quite creative. You know, how do you get a form? Where can you do forms where things connect and wrap around? And lizards and reptiles are perfect for that because they already have stuff built inside of them. So you can actually just see them so much more easier. You know, how do you wrap a form? And so these are larger ribbons of things, but it's still the contour lines. So give that a try. Have fun.